the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance once again. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in that description box. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,900 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, big day today. The thing is that, we let this guy go. We let that go. Oh, how can we keep this guy and keep that, A lot of these guys, are going to wind up coming back. Now that we're going to be talking about the Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, thing going on. We're talking about him in a little bit here, maybe a little more depth and detail. But also, one of the things is, sometimes if you listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live, those guys, they're really good, really smart. They work for the Giants. They're there every day. They know what's going on and all of that stuff and everything. They're not allowed to they're only allowed to report certain things. They can't report like everything they see, but they're there every day, right? And one of the things that they did bring up, which makes a lot of sense, is that sometimes, the Giants, if there's a conundrum, they got to, it's like, well, we got these 2 guys. We got to cut one of them. It's like, who are we going to cut, right? That happens, right? And then this year, you got to get, there were some decisions to be made this year. It wasn't like, oh, this guy blows. We got 6 tight ends. Only 2 of them worth a damn. Cut the other. That's some, you let Dulcich go. It's like, he did pretty good this preseason. But one thing the Giants, like possibly, it's like if we got 2 guys, we got to cut one of them, right? That's some tough decisions this time. But what they kind of, sometimes do would be like, well, if we keep this guy and we cut this guy, will this guy make it through waivers? And we'll be able to get him back on the practice squad. Or if we keep this guy, we cut this guy, will this guy make it through waivers? And it's like, we let this guy go out into the wild, right? Will he make it through? And if the answer is no, they might keep this guy and let this guy go, saying no, but this guy won't make it through waivers, we don't think. But this guy will. So what we'll do is we'll keep this guy and we'll let this guy go, let him maybe clear waivers or whatever, and then we'll bring him back, put him on the practice squad. Now, the thing is, I think it's under 4 years of service. I think it is, I guess, whatever it is, that they have to clear the waivers. If you have accrued so many years, I think it's 4 years or more of service, right? You're just gone, right? But they can bring it back. So, basically, so like they would have cut like, whatever. Devin Singletary. He has so many, he doesn't have to clear waivers. He's a free agent. But if the Giants were to cut him, they can certainly bring him back. Right? So, it's like this every year. There's always like, how we cut this guy, how we let that guy. But this was a good example of what it's like maybe to have a decent roster. Because, there was like, how do we let this guy go? Well, how do we keep the, so And, yeah, it's a good thing to have. It's a good problem to have, right? Right. So I mean, it's been a while, since we've had a nice. Now, of course, it doesn't mean anything. Let's see what we produce on the field, right? But there were some tough decisions to be made. Very, very tough decisions to be made. So the Giants 53-man roster. Let's see if I can share the screen here. Let's share screen. Here we go. All right, let's go over here. Let's go with the 53-man roster. Okay, so this is all. We're gonna go over that in a little bit here. So with the deadline at 4:00, clubs had to reduce their roster to a maximum of 53 players. Now, one thing, okay, which is something else, is that actually it could be, right, 55, roster of 55, because the Giants are allowed to have 53 guys, right, and keep 2 guys, like, I guess, on the injured list or whatever, where I guess put them on injured reserve, where they would have to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. Like, I think, as we're going to scroll on down, I think Joshua Zudu might be on that, maybe. So actually it's like 55 guys, right? 53 healthy players, and then 2 guys they put on injured reserved have to miss, I guess, the first 4 weeks. So actually they can protect 55 guys, and then the practice squad players. Now with the Giants, since they had the Jude McAtamy, the international exemption, the Giants can actually have 17 players on injured reserve, 17 players on the practice squad. So I mean, look, the Giants could actually, I'm gathering, they can actually have 72 guys, right? 17 on the practice squad and 55 guys, right, on the main roster. So if they went from 90, theoretically they go from 90 kind of down to 72. So they're now they let somebody go. Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan hasn't been claimed yet, from as far as I know. But they only lost maybe 18 guys. And as I said, a lot of the guys that they released had a waived. We're going to go over these. This waived, no recall, and these guys. Some of these guys, depends upon how many years of service they have this special designation. But so the Giants may be only losing maybe like somewhere in the area, maybe around 18 guys off the roster. Like I said, most of the guys that they let go that they're going to bring back on the practice squad, will be part of the 90-man roster. Now, it's always fluid. It's never, we're set. We got our practice squad. We got our 53-man roster. We don't need to make another move ever. No, it's always fluid. Guys get hurt. Somebody gets let go out there. If somebody the Lions, can't remember the guy's name. They let go an offensive lineman. Who the heck was it? The Patriots let go of a first rounder offensive lineman. Can't remember the guy's name. But if that was happening, the Giants are third in the pecking order too, right? So if the Giants put a waiver wire claim in, they pick up some guy, but they pick up some guy, they put him on the roster. Somebody else has got to go. So it's always moving, right? But all right. So the Giants open the regular season at Washington. And I really, honestly, just straight up honest with you, boy, I tell you, I think at Washington, at Dallas, I don't think it could possibly be any better. It couldn't be any better, right? There's no pressure on the Giants, so to speak. We're not expected to do anything, right? There was a lot of pressure on Dable and Shane to perform, obviously, but the Yeah, I don't know the betting places and all of that have the Giants like 5 or 6 wins. I mean, a lot of people have the Giants last place again, so there's not a lot of pressure, right, on the Giants here. And to go out on the road and these one of these first 2 games, obviously on the road, neither one of them is against the Eagles. Okay, the cream of the crop. We're going against the Commanders and the Cowboys, and somewhere along the line we got to beat the Cowboys. They're not getting better. I mean, yeah, they're not that good of a football team. Okay, plain and simple. And we should have beat the Commanders last year, especially in Washington. Right, so to go out on the road and if we can come back 1-1, that's fantastic, really, really fantastic. And I don't see why we should not be very competitive in both those games. I don't see why not. And if we can come home with 2-0, that'd be fantastic. Really, really fantastic. So to start the first 2 games on the road against winnable opponents in our division, it's huge, huge. So I said one of these years we have to beat the Cowboys. I mean, they're not that good. I mean, just plain and simple. I mean, you got to go in there with an attitude. Like, I hate these. After the game, you shake hands, your brothers, and all that stuff, and everything. Hey man, good. You know what I mean? But when that whistle blows, they are the enemy. They come in our place every year and smack us around. That's got to stop. Plain and simple. Got to stop. All right, so the claiming period for players placed on waivers at the roster reduction will expire at noon on Wednesday, August 27th. So the Giants are 3rd in the claiming order. So let's see if they, see what they do. Teams can then establish a practice squad of 17 players as long as one player qualifies as is designated as an international player, like the Giants have with Jude McAtamney. So to reach the 53-man limit, the Giants made the following moves today. So they waived with no recall. Now, these are the guys that have to claim clear waivers. If they clear waivers, the Giants can bring them back and put them on the practice squad, right? We got Dalen Cambre, Elijah Chatman. A lot of people got really sore about that. A lot of people got really sore about that. Me too. I am. Right? Love the dude. I love the dude's attitude, what he brings to the team, all that stuff, and I absolutely love it. I hope they bring him back on the practice squad. Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, a lot of people are going to talk about him a little bit more in depth and detail. I guess in the next portion of our program. Greg Dulcich, who had a very good training camp. Very good, Giants had a tough decision to make there. I've seen a lot of people talking about Chris Manhurts. Well, what Chris Manhurts brings to the table, none of the other Giants can, is blocking. Yeah, there's Chris Manhurts, and then there's the rest of the group. What he brings as far as his blocking ability, right, he's up here. Then everybody else falls in line down here. So it was tough. It's tough. I guess they did not want to expose Fedoni possibly to the waiver wire. If you think you might have something, especially with one of your draft picks. And let's not forget, right? I mean, if they clear waivers, you put them back on the practice squad, go. All right, they're on your team, but they're on the practice squad. It's not like, it's not like they're under some umbrella where they're protected from the sun. No. They can be plucked off of there at any time, any given time. Although, when they are plucked off of the 53-man, when they're all plucked off of the practice squad, they have to go on the other team's 53-man roster, and they have to remain there for like 2 or 3 weeks. It might be 3 game checks. I think they have to, So the Giants really did not want to expose, I'm guessing, because I said Dulcich had himself a very nice training camp. I'm sure they didn't want to take one of their draft picks, right, and expose them to the waiver wire. Right? Everybody that they drafted made the team. Okay. And I mean, Fedoni, he's got like a wingspan of a 747. I think some of what made, one of probably the biggest reason why obviously was his injury history, which made him last to the 7th round. If he never had those injuries, I'm sure he would have been long gone by the 7th round. So if he can stay healthy, the Giants might have got themselves a pretty doggone good tight end in the 7th round. So they got Corey Durden, right? Trace Ford, Tolman Fox, Elijah Garcia. Tolman Fox, I mean, he's been on the practice squad before, so good chance, he might wind up on there too. Elijah Garcia, Brian Hudson. We're going to talk a little bit, a little bit more in depth and detail. We're going to be talking a little more in depth and detail about all these guys, but especially Brian Hudson on the offensive side of things here. We're going to be talking about him. Jake Kubis. Now with him, I just listened to Big Blue Kickoff Live. I know that the Giants, their coaching staff, and all they really are pretty high on the guy. But they kept, I think it was 10 offensive linemen. He was not one of them. But once again, if he clears waivers, they can always bring him back, right? Raheem Lane. Now, interestingly, they only wind up keeping 3 safeties. A bit odd, because usually you would figure maybe 4. Well, as of right now, they only got 3 safeties on the roster. I think they kept 7 cornerbacks, but 3 safeties. So they go to Jude McAtee, Turbo Miller. That one hurts, right? He's exposed. Now that's one of the problems about putting out some good tape in the preseason, right? Now Turbo didn't necessarily light it up as far as the running back position. Like, he didn't have a 65-yard run and a 42-yard touchdown run and 89. Actually, was it the first game against Buffalo? I think he had 10 carries for like 22 yards or something like that. Blocking. We didn't do a phenomenal job against the Bills as far as the running. But what Turbo did do was that's those screens, boy. I'll tell you what. I mean, he just drives 3rd down and 17. Dropping back the pass in the pocket, look on. Dump it off the Turbo. Catches the ball. It's 3rd and 17. Boom, 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 boom. Picks up 18. 1st down. 3rd down and 11. Drop back in the pocket. Drop it off the Turbo. Little screen, catches it, picks up 12 yards. 1st down. I mean, obviously that's on tape. So we'll have to see. I mean, because last year we got him back on the practice squad. Might be the same thing this year, right? Jimmy Morrissey, Makari Page, Jordan Riley, the Juice Wells, and D. Williams. Now, these are the veterans. Okay, these are guys that have all been around for a little while who do not have to clear waivers. Basically, these guys are terminated. The contracts are terminated. Right, so right now they're free agents. They can sign with anybody they want. They don't have to clear waivers or nothing. Right. Stone Forsythe, little Jordan Humphrey. Well, that was a little surprising. It was always like, who was going to be they actually wound up keeping 6 wide receivers. So we kind of possibly knew that they were going to keep Hyatt, which would be the 4th wide receiver. Who were they going to keep? 5? Were they going to keep 6? And if they were going to keep 6, who were going to be the additional 2 wide receivers? Right. This one's a shocker too. I mean, Jonathan Ward, he had an uphill, unless the guys started getting hurt left and right, running backs. I mean, he had that nice touchdown, right? Good for him, and good for him. He put it on tape, right? And so hopefully maybe somebody wanted to pick him up, but he was going to probably have to leapfrog Scatterbo. That wasn't happening. Tyrone Tracy Jr., that wasn't happening. Motor Singletary wasn't leapfrogging him either. So, he was going to have to leapfrog probably Turbo Miller too. I mean, so Jonathan Ward had an uphill battle. But Amir Smith-Marset, once again, they terminated his contract. He's out there. That doesn't mean they can't pick him back up and put him back on the practice squad, right? Waived injured is Daquan Felton, Trey Hawkins III, Jermaine Terry II. Reserved, physically unable to perform, Victor Dimukeji and Eric Gray, right? And reserved, injured, designated for return, Joshua Zudo. Okay, so that's one of those guys. I believe that's one of the guys because they could put two guys on injured reserve designated to return. Two guys. I guess that Joshua Zudo, I'm not sure what's wrong with him, is one of those guys. So real fast here. So we got the roster now. All right, they want to keep him Bo Collins. Now he did good. He was good in camp. So they want to keep him the three quarterbacks. They let they said, I mean, next portion here I'm going to talk about possibly keeping four quarterbacks. What the benefit of that would have been, right? Dart, Wilson, and Winston. As I said, Tommy Chicken, Cutler, Parmesan, he could be on the practice squad if he clears waivers. We don't know, but with the way the quarterbacks, fall. I mean, what if Russell Wilson goes out and gets injured? We got Tommy Chicken, Cutler, Parmesan, right, on the practice squad. We elevate them, and then we got now we still have we're still in one small way have all four of our quarterbacks if one guy was to get injured, right? But if we'll have to wait and see what happens with Tommy Chicken, Cutler, Parmesan. Does he clear waivers? If we get him on the practice squad, way quarterbacks get injured, so somewhere else, along the line, somebody's going to pluck him off the practice squad. But the offensive line, now this was, who were they going to keep, right? Illuminor, of course, Hudson, Marcus Bowe, Evan Neal, Runyon Jr., Austin Schlottman. That's a little bit of a surprise there. Now, but he can play. I know he's going to be like the backup center, but a little surprised about him. Obviously, John Michael Schmitz, some guy by the name of Andrew Thomas, right? Greg Van Roten and Aaron Stinney. Stinney did well. Stinney did well. So it was how many offensive linemen? Was it going to be 9 or was it going to be 10? Now, the one thing is here, okay, is that they got Schlottman. We'll have to wait and see. When Zudu comes back, who's the one on this offensive line that gets the old heave-ho? I'm saying it might be Schlottman. But they got 10 here, and then they protected a Zudu. So actually, they have 11 offensive linemen right now. But I said, when a Zudu can come back, I think he's got to miss maybe the first 4 games. When he comes back, it'd be interesting to see which one of the offensive linemen gets the heave-ho. Well, it doesn't have to be an offensive lineman. It could be somebody else. But the 6 wide receivers, all right, Hyatt, Neighbors, Wandale, and Slate. Now, they kept Gunner, who had a very good. He caught more passes than Amir Smith-Marset. So his receiving was a lot better in the preseason, okay, than Amir Smith-Marset. With Amir Smith-Marset, he very good in the return game. Let's also not forget with Gunnar Olszewski, the punt returner, too, right? A couple of years ago, he returned one to the house against the Rams. So, I mean, he did very well for himself in this in the training camp, preseason training camp. So the interesting thing was, and then the guy said they kept Bo Collins. But the interesting thing about with Gunnar Olszewski was that after when they went to pick him up, okay, he was just out there. Any of the other 31 teams could have picked him up, right? Bryce Ford Wheaton went down. The Giants needed somebody else that could help, maybe a wide receiver, but somebody else that could help in the special teams department. So they went out and they brought Gunnar back. But he was just sitting out there. There were so many other 31 other teams that didn't come a calling, right? So, but he did very well for himself. Now, of course, they kept the 3 running backs and they kept the 4 tight ends. Now, as I said, Dulcich, if he clears waivers, right, he comes back, and maybe the Giants get him on the practice squad. But Theo Johnson, Fedoni, Bellinger, right, the 3 guys, the 3 tight ends that the Giants drafted, they're on here, and then they got Manhurts for his blocking. Defense. Now, this is the big interesting. I mean, because a lot of people think maybe Chauncey Golston could have been an outside linebacker. They only got 3 listed out outside linebackers. And oddly, Abdul Carter may not always be an outside linebacker. He might be an inside linebacker. But they just got 3 outside linebackers listed here. Right? But they got 6 defensive linemen. Chauncey Golston is one of them. Now it was kind of like, who's it going to be? Right? They let go of Jordan Riley. If he clears waivers, they can maybe bring him back. He's a big guy, right? But Darius Alexander, the 3rd round draft pick, he was going to make the team. DJ Davidson, he's the one they got in, right? They kept 26 guys on offense, only 24 on defense. But DJ Davidson, he's kind of like the, Nacho, Roy Robinson Harris, some guy by the name of Dexter Lawrence, and Darius Alexander. And then, of course, Chauncey Golston. But was there going to be another guy? And we wound up being DJ Davidson. They wound up keeping him. He got bigger. He got stronger. He's like about 320 pounds now. So he's bulky. He's like 6'4", 6'5", something like. He's a big guy, right? So he won out. I mean, there was some guys that like Chatman, Garcia, Riley, Durden, Davidson. If one, maybe one of those 5 guys was going to make the team. Well, it wound up being DJ Davidson, right? So then we got the 3 outside linebackers, got 5 inside linebackers board, mainly for special teams. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, Micah McFadden, Darius Murisal, Bobby Okereke. Then 7 cornerbacks and just 3 safeties. So we've got a Debo, Banks, Corey Black. He made it. We're going to be talking about Cordell Flott in a little bit here. He had himself, a very good preseason, especially according to PFF anyway. Art Green, Nick Jones, who had himself a very, according to PFF, had himself a very good preseason, according to PFF, and of course Drew Phillips. Then just the 3 safeties, Belton, Holland, and Newman. So I mean, look for that if anything to change. Just having 3 safeties on the roster is a bit odd, right? Then you got Gano, Gillen, and Kreider. So. Whoa, what's going on, buddy? Until Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones are gone, I will never win another. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, it just seems like I don't know. Jones is just not. I don't know. He had it really, really good when he had Jerry Johnson or Jimmy Johnson back in the 90s. And I mean, he had Parcells, and Parcells was only there for a few years. He's had some really good teams, but I mean, as of he just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. And there's since basically the last 30 years with Jerry Jones, right? There's been like with the Dallas Cowboys, there's been like one constant over the last 30 years: Jerry Jones. So I mean, until he gives up like control. Which I guess I don't when he dies, is he going to pass everything on down to his son? Look, son, all this is yours, and you're the GM too. Good luck and God bless. I mean, is it going to be the same thing? Or is there ever going to be a point in time where Jerry steps back, hands the keys over to a general manager who can run the thing, right? Build a team, right? And it may be taken because they've had some good teams. It just, I don't know. It just seems like, I'll tell you what, over the past, whatever, they just seem like they're just kind of, I mean, they're paying Dak Prescott like $60 million a year. They're going to be probably, if Micah Parsons gets his way, he's going to get $40 million a year. Then they're paying ABCD Lamb $30 or $40 million. If they're paying like $40 million a year for 3 guys, it's like, wow. So I mean, almost like half their salary cap is for 3 guys. It's, I think once Jerry Jones actually turns the keys over to somebody else, steps, but I don't know if he's ever going to do that. I mean, he's got to be, 80-something years old. I mean, he can't be around much. I mean, I'm not wishing death on anybody. Jerry Jones is he's been great for the league and all that stuff and everything. But I mean, as far as the Cowboys, it just seemed like especially the last whatever, they're just not really super spectacular. I mean, and I said over the last 30 years, there's been one constant, and that's him. Maybe that's the reason why they're not winning all these Super Bowls and everything. Maybe it's time for him to go, but you can't tell him that. Right? But now here, like with this here, should the Giants have kept 4 quarterbacks? Well, I mean, if they kept 10 offensive linemen, could they have made room for only 9 offensive linemen? Because what they also said, I hate to keep bringing up Big Blue Kickoff Live, but they got a lot of good information. And one of the things I think John Schmelk was there talking about, he said, out of all the guys that a lot of teams let go, I mean, it's not like you let go, say, 20 guys, and 15 out of those 20 guys get scoffed up by other teams. That's not the way it really happens. You might get a couple guys, that get scoffed up by another team. But I mean, it's not like, as I said, you let 20 guys go and say, oh my God, we're going to lose all of them. No, that's not the case. You might lose a couple. I'm saying, so the Giants kept 10 offensive linemen. Could they have kept, I'm just saying, just kept 9, right? If Joshua Zudu, he's I guess on injured reserve for the first 4 weeks, right? Let Kubis go, right? He might come back. There's other offensive linemen that got let go out there, right? But I mean, they're going to have some offensive linemen on the practice squad as well too. If they kept 9, right? A couple guys on the practice squad, they got a Zudu on injured reserve. Looks like, could they have kept 4? Now, why keep 4? Well, glad you asked. See, I mean, after this season's over with, there's a good chance Russell Wilson will be gone. I mean, possibly, and if it's a repeat of 2004 to 2011, sign me up 10 ways to Tuesday, right? Kind of like what it was in 2004, right? We signed Kurt Warner, right, to be the starter, and Eli Manning was the backup. Kurt Warner was there for 1 season. Actually, Kurt Warner didn't even make it through the whole season, right? We pulled the plug on the season, put Eli Manning in there, and obviously the rest is history. But, I mean, unless, Russell Wilson, whatever, takes us to the championship game or something, whatever, I mean, there's a good chance he's not coming back next season. I mean, sooner or later, as I said, I mean, if he does so well with this team, we're like, wow, Russell really, he kicked butt this year. Maybe we should bring him back another. Well, maybe we can have Dart sit for one more year, maybe. But I mean, if we bring Wilson back, he's going to want a little bit more money than what he's making right now. I don't blame him. But I mean, there's a good chance that after this season's over with, Russell Wilson's gone. Now, it's good in a couple ways because, as we know, with the land of the quarterbacks out there, guys get injured left and right. Who's it? Kenny Pickett just got traded from the Browns. I think they had 32 quarterbacks, I think, on their roster. Well, he got traded to the Raiders for like a 5th round pick. It helps to have quarterbacks, right? Especially now, Jackson Dart hasn't shown that he can win a football game. There's no evidence in the NFL. There's no evidence of that, a regular season game. But all the other quarterbacks on the Giants roster have shown that they can win games in the NFL, regular season games. And that's pretty important. And if we kept like Tommy Cutler, Chicken Cutler Parmesan, if other teams the quarterbacks start going down, maybe somewhere along the line, somebody maybe picks the phone up and calls the Giants. Hey, you got 4, you guys got 4 quarterbacks. And Joe Shane be like, yeah, Oh, do we? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, thanks for telling me. What can I do for you? Well, if you want to get rid of, so and so, we'll be willing to give you such and such for it. Yeah, we'll give you a fourth round pick, fifth round, sixth round pick, or whatever for him instead of just letting Tommy go and maybe losing him on waivers, right? Kind of wondering if the Giants, I don't know, kind of did him a favor. Just we'll let you go. Maybe somebody will claim you instead of keeping you. Because it's like, I kind of want so many things you're never going to know. Never, ever going to know. It's like, we'll keep you and we'll keep you on the roster, but you're never going to play because you're going to be the fourth string quarterback. So basically everybody on the roster would have to die before you get played. So maybe it's like, this is with the Giants for so many years, he's totally buried on the roster. Yeah, we'll let you go. We'll do you a favor, maybe kind of thing. And I said, once again, things like this, some things you never, never going to know. But I mean, if the Giants were to keep him, right, after the season, they'd have four quarterbacks, right? After the season's over with, right, Russell Wilson's gone. Well, they don't have, I don't think, Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan, I don't think is be under contract. They'd have to bring him back and re-sign him, I guess. But, I mean, if Russell Wilson is gone, after the season's over with, you're going to need three quarterbacks. Well, you got Jackson Dart, quite possibly, you got him for 5 years total, right? You got Jameson Winston for 2 years. So, for the most part, he'll be back next season. And then you need a third string quarter or a third quarterback. Well, who else better than Tommy Chicken Parmesan? Now, of course, it does help if Dable and Shane are still there, right? I mean, if there's a new coaching regime in there, they may not want Tommy. They may not. They might want somebody else. Might want to bring their own quarterbacks in. But, I mean, if they could have found room, for Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan to be on the roster, have themselves four quarterbacks, they could either trade one of them, or if they were able to keep them at the end of the season. If Russell Wilson's gone, if they could bring back Tommy, they'd have they'd have the three quarterbacks. Right? I said that, once again, you don't know. Did they do him a favor by just trying to let him go? Because it's like, dude, we got four quarterbacks. I mean, last year we had four quarterbacks play, so you don't want Boyle in there like we did last year. But maybe Tommy would get his chance to play a little. But have to have a lot of guys get injured for him to play. So maybe, just maybe, the Giants did Tommy a favor. Look, we're going to let you go. Right? Thank you. Hey, if nobody claims you, we'll bring you back. Right? You come back home. We got you. Right? But I mean, maybe they put him out there for him to be claimed off of waivers. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, so there's a lot of guys, right? Because when there's like 1,000 guys that got let go, it's a lot of guys. Some will go, most of them are going to go on back with the team that they came from, right? But some of them will wind up getting claimed. But I mean, of course, we all know the quarterback is huge. As I said, it's just, maybe they did Tommy a favor by just letting him go, right? It's just a shame because when you do have something so valuable, you got four quarterbacks. I mean, right? And I'm not saying Tommy's taking anybody to the Super Bowl, but he has shown that in this league with a crappy offensive line, a crappy team, hardly any weapons, that he actually won some games for this crappy team in the NFL. He's shown that he can do that, and that's pretty impressive. So it's just a shame that I said that you have four guys, right? And you let one of them go, and you're not going to get nothing in return for him, quite possibly. That's hey, I said, if you get a 7th round pick for him, right? We can go back. I'm not going to go back to every draft. We got this guy in the 7th round. Oh, we got that guy in the got some guys, some decent players. I mean, Jesse Armstead, I think he was an 8th round pick. Right, some guy by the name of Ahmad Bradshaw, 7th round pick. 2007, the rookie, right, out of Marshall. So you can hit some, you can strike some gold in the 7th round. You get a 7th round pick. I mean, Fedoni looks like he might be a decent tight end if he can stay healthy. Right? Of course, he's had problems with his knees, and playing on MetLife turf might hopefully he's not the kiss of death for the guy, but we'll have to wait and see. But I said it's a shame, because you got, I mean, you got 4 quarterbacks, and you're going to let one of them go and not quite possibly not get nothing in return for him. But I said, once again, you don't know. Maybe they did Tommy a favor, but it's a nice, we let him go. We got three decent quarterbacks. It's I haven't really been able to say that for quite some time. I'm too much of a moron to go back year by year, but I mean, 3 pretty decent quarterbacks on the roster. And I said, I mean, making these tough decisions actually is a good thing. Because why? Because, I mean, we got some talented players on the roster. Right? Now, the Giants, and obviously, if not for like one fluky play, now, it was the Jets, right? It was the Jets. It was the Jets. Yes, the Jets game. Now, I don't know who it was, who picked the pass off. I don't remember. But it was like a 3rd string guy or whatever it was, because Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan was in there at the time. But you got to tip the cap. You get guys to the ball and good things can happen. Right? And that's what wound up happening on the fluky play when, Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan was in the quarterback. I don't know. They got down around the 20-yard line, the 25, whatever it was. And Tommy threw the ball in the end zone right down the middle. He threw it a little short. It bounced off the defender's helmet or the back of his or his shoulder or something like that, whatever it was. Because the defender really, I don't think even saw it. Bounced off him, went sideways, and there was another defender there. You get defenders to the ball, and good things can happen. So you tip your cap to the Jets. He was getting can't remember who the receiver was for the Giants, but he was getting covered one-on-one. It was good, very good coverage. But I mean, if that other defender wasn't there, the ball would have bounced off and would have fallen incomplete. But I mean, it bounced off the back of the defender, like almost went sideways right into the hands of a defender. Could have bounced 35 trillion ways where it might have gone incomplete, but it just happened to bounce sideways right into the defender. But hey, you got guys to the ball, good things can happen, and that's what happened with the Jets there. But the Giants went 10 out of 11. Let me explain. The first game, they sent all 4 quarterbacks in, right? All 4 quarterbacks put up points. That's pretty damn impressive. I mean, I don't remember last time the Giants, if ever, no idea, they ever sent 4 quarterbacks into a game in preseason, because they're not sending. I mean, if they send 4 quarterbacks into a game in regular season, all 4 of them are not scoring points. But in preseason, I can't remember the last time the Giants sent 4 quarterbacks into a game in preseason. That's probably happened, but I don't know when. Right? And all 4 of them put up points. The second game, against the Jets, the Giants once again sent all 4 quarterbacks in there. The first 3 all scored points. It was the last one, Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan. I think he was the 4th one in there. He drove them down the field, got them down around the 20, 25-yard line, whatever it was. And, if they didn't maybe make a touchdown, they possibly might have kicked a field goal. So then it might have been 11 for 11. But the Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan, when he went into the game for the Jets, he did not put up points for the Giants. Right? Could have if he didn't throw that interception, but woulda, coulda, shoulda is what it is, right? But so after the first 2 games, the Giants sent 8 quarterbacks in there, and we scored 7 out of 8. Right? First game, Russell Wilson led the Giants to a field goal. Jackson Dart scored. We scored 3 times with Jackson Dart. Jameson Winston led us to some points, and Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan led us to some points. Multiple points, multiple scores. I think Jameson Winston led us to 1 score. So we went 4 for 4. The first game against the Bills. The second game against the Jets, Russell Wilson led us to some points. Jackson Dart led us to some points. Jameson Winston led us to some points, right? Tommy Cutler Parmesan did not. He had that interception. I said if he didn't throw that interception, maybe we kick a field goal. I know, once again, it's preseason. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But if there wasn't that fluky interception, maybe we kick a point there, kick a field goal. Then we'd been 8 for 8. But we weren't. But so after the first 2 preseason games, the Giants sent their 4 quarterbacks out there each twice. 7 out of 8 produced. Then the final game, right? There was no Russell Wilson, right? We had, let me see here, Bills. Get this out here. I want to try to see. They're 42-10. Okay, so the Giants, we got play-by-play. So the first, touchdown. First drive, went 5 plays, 65 yards. Dart led us to some points, right, in the first quarter. I mean, we had, then we had there was the pick 6. Right, so basically we scored 5 touchdowns, right? So in the first quarter, let's see, the Giants scored, and then their last drive, they went 5 plays, 61 yards, started by Dart. Let's see, and then after, let's see, Peppers for no gain, Dulcich, Polk. Then Dart came out because after he scrambled, he got hit. He came out. Jameson Winston put up a 27-yard touchdown pass. So in the first quarter against New England, Dart scored and Jameson Winston didn't. Most of the drive was Dart, but the final play was Winston pass, deep pass. That was to Hyatt. Now, of course, sure looked like he pushed off on that one, but if they don't call it, okay. But he looks like he pushed off. But anyway. All right. And then let's see. So at the end of the half, we had only had 14 points. So in the second half, that's when we scored the 3 touchdowns. Right. All right. So let's see. All right, Ward. Let's see. We had that's when Tommy came in, right? Tommy led us on a touchdown. Let's see here. Incompletion. There was a long touchdown drive, 3-yard touchdown pass, DeVito to Fedoni. Right. Then before the third quarter was out, we went 7 plays, 84 yards with DeVito in there. Right. And let's see what we got here. Then DeVito passed for Dulcich for 1 yard, right? So DeVito led us to 3 touchdowns, right? So, where are we at here? Here we go, right? So, in the 3 games, we sent 11 quarterbacks out, and 10 out of those 11 quarterbacks got us points. I mean, it was just, once again, we've had a nice preseason here, preseason there, but as far as just, overall, we're going to be talking about the point differential in just a second here, right? But overall, once again, I know it's preseason. I get it. Doesn't mean nothing. But also think about this, right? Would you rather have us, right, after the preseason be 0-3 with a minus 60-point differential? Or would you rather have us being 3-0 with a plus 60-point differential? I'd go for the latter, right? Once again, doesn't mean we're going to win a football game during the regular season, but get you a little excited about it. Gives you something, gives you a little bit of hope, right? And I said, first to put 11 quarterbacks out there in those 3 games, and 10 out of the 11 wound up putting up points for the New York Football Giants in preseason. It's pretty special. Pretty special. I mean, as I said, I don't remember last time something like that happened for the Giants. I said, we've scored like, maybe in this preseason game, we put up over 30. Maybe that preseason game, we put up but I mean, a 30, and then a 40. I mean, over 100 points in 3 preseason games. Whew, wow. Very exciting. Very exciting. So once again, doesn't mean we're going to win 1 football game during the regular season, but I would much rather be talking about something like that, 3-0, scoring some points, not giving up a lot of points, big point differential. I'd rather be talking about that than, man, we got smoked all 3 preseason games. So, but I mean, this is, one interesting little tidbit here, right? Russell Wilson's crazy preseason stat. Now, it's not only so much, it's not so much it's his preseason stat, but it's also what the Giants are going to happen this year with the plus 60 point differential. It's only happened since 2009. It's only happened. This is the 8th time it's happened since 2009. And there's only, I think, the Giants are, so it's happened 8 times, right? The Giants are one of them. So now we're down to 7 because we haven't played a game, right? So we don't know if the Giants are making the playoffs or not. But the only out of those other 7 teams, only somehow, don't know how it happened. Somehow the Bears from last year did it. 2024 Bears were over 60 point, and they didn't make the playoffs. But the first 6 teams since 2009 had a plus 60 point differential. Okay, now I'm going to start in just a second here. Also, how impressive the Giants and the Bears were, right? In just a second, but since 2009, the other 6 teams that had a plus 60 point differential all went to the playoffs. They averaged 11.1 wins per season. Okay. But what makes this so special, okay, with the Giants and the Bears is that I think, we're going to go over this in just a second. I think, if I'm not mistaken, all the other teams that had a plus 60 point differential, once again, I get it. It's only preseason. It doesn't mean we're going to the Super Bowl. I get it. But all the other teams that are plus 60 point differential played 4 preseason games. The Giants and the Bears did it in 3. Right? Now let's hope that the Giants wind up being like the first 6 teams that did it and not the last one, because the Bears, to be fair, the Bears coaching was atrocious last year. They had better coaching. They had a good coach on that sideline. I think they were 5-12 or something like that. I mean, if they had some good coaching, they would have won more games without question. But let me go over this here. I mean, it's just interesting. But also, out of those 8 teams since 2009, Russell Wilson's been a part of 3 of them. Obviously, 2 of them with the Seahawks. I mean, back in the day when the Seahawks were good. But Russell Wilson's been a part of 3 of those teams. All right, so Giants pull off rare preseason feat that's produced 2 Super Bowl champs, 6 playoff teams over the past 16 years. This preseason feat has led to a playoff appearance for almost every team that has accomplished it since 2009, except, as I said, the only team that has not gone to the playoffs was the Bears from last season. And I'm not saying the Bears would have gone to the playoffs last season if they had a better coach, but if they had a better coach on the sideline, I mean, they easily could have won a few more games. Easily. That was a shame because Caleb Williams had himself not too bad of a season. I mean, it seems like with Caleb, if you give him a good coach, it's really going to help him and help the Bears too. All right. So when it comes to the NFL preseason, the games are generally viewed as being pretty meaningless. Well, yes and no. Not for the guys trying to make the roster. If a team has a good preseason, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be good during the regular season. And if you need proof, just ask the 2008 Detroit Lions and the 2017 Cleveland Browns about that. Both teams went 4-0 in the preseason before going 0-16 in the regular season. And the Giants did that too. I mean, the Giants, I know one of the years, I can't remember what one it was, in the 70s, they went 6-0 in the preseason. I think they won like 2 games in the regular season. So it doesn't, although the preseason doesn't really serve as a good predictor for the regular season, there has been one stat that has somehow translated to regular season success, and that's point differential. And if you're a fan of the New York Giants, this is where you're going to want to start paying attention. Thanks to their 42-10 win over the Patriots. I mean, I don't even remember the last time the Giants beat a team by 30 points in the preseason. I don't know. So thanks to their win over the Patriots, the Giants will finish the preseason with a record of 3-0. In those 3 games, the Giants outscored their opponents by 60 points. The reason that's notable is because over the past 16 years, a point differential of 60 seems to be the magic number when trying to figure out if a team's preseason success will translate to the regular season. But as I said, all those other teams that did it played 4 games. That means they average winning by on an average of at least like 15 points per game. The Giants did it in 3 games. I mean, they averaged beating their 3 teams by a grand of 20 points each game. Giants are the 8th team since 2009 to finish a preseason with a point differential of 60 or more. And of the 7 previous teams, 6 of them made the playoffs, including 2 teams that went on to win the Super Bowl. Also, in a nice twist, Russell Wilson was the starting quarterback for 2 of those 7 teams on the list, and he'll be the Giants starter in Week 1. So out of those 8 teams, Russell Wilson has been a quarterback 3 times. Let's check out the other 7 teams on the list. The first one was the 2009 Nolan Saints. What did they do? They won the Super Bowl. Preseason record of 3-1. The point differential was plus 69. The regular season, they were 13-3. And they wound up winning. The Saints started the regular season 13-0 on their way to winning the NFC South. And obviously, then they wound up winning the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. 2011 Detroit Lions. The preseason was 4-0. Their point differential was a plus 67. They finished 10-6. After going 11 years without a playoff berth, the Lions' drought finally ended. It came during a season where they blew everyone out in the preseason. So once again, both those teams made the playoffs. These next 2 teams made the playoffs with Russell Wilson. 2012 Seahawks preseason, they were 4-0. Point differential plus 78. Regular season, they were 11-5 during Russell Wilson's rookie year. Seahawks blew out everyone in the preseason and proceeded to also dominate during the regular season. After finishing second in the NFC West, the Seahawks won a wild card playoff game before losing 30-28 in the divisional round to Atlanta. The Falcons hit a 49-yard field goal with 8 seconds left to clinch the win. Tough way to lose. The 2013 Seahawks finished the preseason 4-0. Russell Wilson, once again, was the quarterback. Point differential, plus 73. The regular season, 13-3. They wound up winning the Lombardi Trophy. Pete Carroll clearly took the preseason football seriously because for the second straight year, not only did the Seahawks go 4-0 in the preseason, but they once again outscored their opponents by at least 70 points. The 2013 season ended with Carroll and the Seahawks hoisting the Lombardi Trophy after beating the Broncos. The 2014 Denver Broncos. Preseason, they were 3-1, point differential plus 62. The regular season, 12-4. During Peyton Manning's season in Denver, the Broncos rolled through their preseason with 2 of their 3 wins coming by at least 24 points. Their preseason dominance translated to the regular season with Denver winning the AFC West. However, they did get upset by the Colts in the divisional round of the playoffs. The 2019 Baltimore Ravens, preseason record 4-0, point differential plus 66, regular season 14-2. John Harbaugh loves to play to win in the preseason, and we know that because Baltimore once won an NFL record 24 straight preseason games. And once again, they went 3-0 this year, too. During that streak, this was the only season where the Ravens outscored their preseason opponents by at least 60 points. So they had plus 66 point differential in the preseason. In the regular season, not only did the Ravens finish with the best record in the NFL, but Lamar Jackson also won MVP. Now, this team here, the Bears from last year, they were 4-0 in the preseason. I'll say they were 4-0. The Giants are the only team with a plus 60. I guess the Bears must have played, I guess maybe in the Hall of Fame game or something like that, but they played 4 preseason games last year. They were plus 68 point differential, but the regular season they were only 5-12. Had a better coach, they could have easily won 2 or 3 more games, easily. Probably wouldn't have made the playoffs, but they would have definitely had a better record. Their coaching was just atrocious last year. Bears are the only team over the past 16 years to outscore their opponents by at least 60 points in the preseason and not make the playoffs. Although they went 5-12, they were a lot closer to making the postseason than their record might suggest. The team lost 7 games by 1 score, including an NFL high 5 losses that came by 3 points or less. The Bears were 4-2 at one point last season and would have been 5-2 if they could have stopped Jaden Daniels from completing a Hail Mary against them in Week 8. Bears also had a missed field goal on the final play of a 2019 loss against the Packers in Week 11. And let's not forget that they had the clock run out on them in the 3-point Thanksgiving loss to the Lions. Might sound crazy to say, but this team was just a few plays away from going 9-8 or even 10-7. It's the truth. Anyway, even the Chicago's 5-win season, the 7 teams above still managed to win an average of 11 games per season. Giants are now the 8th team to outscore their opponents by at least 60 points or more since 2009. And as I said, they only did that in 3 games. All those other teams had 4 games. If history holds, that means that they'll likely be headed to at least the playoffs. Of course, it won't be easy. The Giants do have the toughest strength of schedule in the NFL this year. If you go back 20 years, there would be only one other team added to this list, the 2006 Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals were 8-5 at one point and had just to win one of their final 3 games to make the playoffs, but they fell apart down the stretch, which included 2 heartbreaking losses over the final 2 games. In Week 16, they botched an extra point attempt with under a minute left in a 24-23 loss to the Broncos. In Week 17, they lost 23-17 to the Steelers in overtime after Pittsburgh scored on a 67-yard touchdown pass with just 90 seconds in overtime. Of the 8 teams over the past 20 years to outscore their opponents by 60 points or more in the preseason, 7 have finished with a record of 500 or better. 6 have made the playoffs, and only the Bears have finished under 500. So, as I said, a couple of them might have won in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, once again, it's only preseason, but as I said, after preseason was over, I'd rather much be sitting here saying the Giants were 3-0, and we outscored our opponents by 60 points in 3 games. We just whooped up on the Patriots by 30. I don't even know. When was the last time the Giants beat a team by 32 points in preseason? I mean, I can certainly look it up, but I mean, I don't know. When was the last time? I don't know. When was the last time the Giants outscored their opponents by 60 points in a preseason game? In a season. I don't know. A lot of points. 60 points. So, once again, doesn't translate, isn't going to translate into, or guaranteeing no wins. Obviously, that all has to come, on the field. That comes again. It's going to come week 1, obviously, I guess, against the Commanders. Let's see if we can beat them, right? Let's not forget we could have beaten them last year if we only had a kicker. If we had a healthy kicker last year, we quite possibly wind up beating the Commanders in Washington. But if all that stuff came to fruition and stuff like that, we may not have Abdul Carter and we may not have Jackson Dart. So things worked out for the best. And then the year before that, when we SHIT the bed, right? We may not have wound up with Malik Neighbors. So those two really horrible seasons, right, quite possibly gave the Giants 3 really good draft picks in the first round. So. Yeah, I mean, also this is according to PFF. Now, once again, after let's see, I know I'm watching. After week 1, we were not the highest. This once again is all preseason. That's all it says. We were not the highest graded team in the preseason after week 1, but I think we had the best passing. We were number 1 after the first week when we played the Bills in best passing grade, the Giants. So we got some pretty impressive numbers here. Pretty doggone impressive numbers here. I'm gonna go over here, right? But I mean the Giants overall team grade, we were number 1 according to PFF. I'll tell you what, it's not something the Giants can often say. I don't even know if they can ever say that. I mean, in the PFF era, right? So let me share my screen here. We'll go over. Here we all. Nope. There. Oh wait, nope. Special teams grade. There we go. We'll go over the overall grades. All right, so we start here. So that all starts off obviously in alphabetical order here with the Cardinals being number 1. But we go with the overall grade. Booyah! Look who's number 1. Now, once again, it's only preseason. I get it. But I would rather be much talking about this, the Giants being number 1 with an overall grade of 85 in preseason than talking about the Giants being number 32 with an overall team grade of 4. Right? I said we scored 107 points. We gave up 47, 3-0. Overall, the Ravens, they were what? Plus 50, 53. So the Ravens came close to being a plus 60, but the Ravens, I'll tell you what, the Ravens are deadly serious about their preseason. Deadly serious about their preseason. So they were 81. The Broncos, they were 77.3. The Bears, once again, did very well in the preseason. They were 77. The Browns, 75.8. Right? The Seahawks were 1-1-1. They were 75.4. But the New York Giants, look at that, huh? Overall, the best overall team grade. Let's see here. Let's see. Can I do this here? Okay, let's do this here. Let's go 2024. Where were the Giants at? Overall. Let's see. The New York Giants overall in preseason. Number 28. 58. 2023. Overall, let's see here. 26. 61.8. 26th. 22. See, once again, you see the Ravens are up there, right? All they do is win in the preseason. Giants were 14th. Okay, 14th. Let's see, 2021. Where are we at here? 25th. We were 0-3. Must have lost 3 tough games because we scored 40 points. We only gave up 51. I'm saying, but look here, we scored 40 points in 3 games. We scored 42 against the Patriots alone, right? So we're 25th, 2021, 2020. I'm not going to go all the way back. I mean, but let's go back here to 2020. Oh, okay. Maybe they stopped doing that then. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. Okay, 2019, nothing. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know. 2020 was the COVID. That's what it was. There you go. That makes sense now. Okay. Well, the Giants were number 1, 2019. Look at that. 80.8. So there you go. Right. Ravens were 4-0. Yeah, say Ravens 2019. Say 4-0. But the Giants 2019. 119 and 87. We were 4-0, but we wound up with the best overall. So you only have to go back a few years. But as I said, you look here, we were 4-0, 13, and the best was it that we outscored our opponents by 32 points in four games. Here we outscored our opponents by 60 points in only 3 games. But the Giants were the number 1 team. Well, right. So what we got? Pat Shurmur. Right, Pat Shurmur. Huh? Wow. All right. So it's not quite as bad as I thought. But let's see. Here we go. Here we'll go offense. See where the Giants are. Giants were number 2, 79.4. Somehow the Bears' offense was better. We scored. We scored one interception, 1 touchdown off an interception. So we still scored 100 points in 3 games on offense. So somehow the Bears, their offense was a little bit better according to PFF. But we were number 2. Passing, Giants are number 1, 89.7. Pass blocking, number 1. Look at that. I mean, across the board, receiving, we're not number. Giants are number. But let's not forget, okay, the Giants, no Malik Neighbors. I know Darius. I don't even know if Darius Slayton even played either. Had Hyatt in there, but Wando Robinson played a little bit. But our best wide receiver didn't play at all. And Darius Slayton, our number 2 wide receiver, didn't. He hardly played at all, if at all. So our best couple of wide receivers really didn't even play. Right? And we wind up number 3. We wind up with Bo Collins, little Jordan Humphrey, Dalen Cambre in there, Gunnar Olszewski. I mean, and we wind up being, number 1, pass blocking once again. Giants were number 1, pass blocking. I mean, wow, crazy. Receiving 70. As I said, the Giants are number 3. Running, the Giants weren't quite as good here. I would say our running was not quite as good. We do need to improve on that. The Giants are number 23. We're running. Run blocking. Same thing here. Giants were number 8. So, I mean, that's not bad. Let's not forget. We had a lot. We had Ward in there a lot. We had Turbo Miller in there a lot. Scatterboo only got 3 carries. So now on defense, what we got here? Defense here. Giants are number 4. Yeah, the Ravens only gave up 32 points. The Ravens are deathly serious about. That's probably one of the reasons why the Eagles don't. The Eagles used to play the Ravens in preseason. They don't play them anymore. I guess that's because they're sick and tired of losing to them because they're a bunch of gutless wussies. That's why they don't play the Ravens anymore. Let's see. So run defense. Let's see, Giants, number 8. Very impressive. Tackling. Let's see here. Number 20. Got to do better than that. Tackling. Pass rush. Yeah, well, the Giants didn't have their main pass rush in there. Giants were number 6, though. Very impressive. Whoops. And we got coverage. We got there. Giants number 5. Very impressive. And in special teams. Giants did pretty well in special teams. What we got here? I thought they did. I guess, man. They were middle of the pack, 16. Well, I thought they did better than that, but at a 69. But, it goes to show you. Yeah, Giants were number 1. Number 1. Vinny G-Man! What's up, brother? Vinny G-Man's in the house. Looking forward to week 1. Looking forward. So it's not so we got Labor Day weekend coming up, obviously, here, right? So then Well, I mean, you got today's what? Actually, it's almost actually it is Wednesday morning, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday morning, right? So you figure what next Thursday? That's when you got the Eagles and the Cowboys going on. Whew, man, gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, so I mean, that's I mean, I was surprised about that. Once again, that's all according to PFF. That's all that is. But very, very surprised that the Giants actually in 2019 were the number one, according to PFF, number one graded team, according to PFF, overall team grade, according to PFF. So you have to go back to it. I mean, I'm thinking, when was the last time the Giants really were really good in preseason? Well, they were 4-0. But I didn't know they had the best overall team grade in 2019. So you don't have to go back too far. That's pretty impressive. But now, some of it is a little, obviously a little misleading because you have Mr. Hudson here. Okay, he just happened to be the highest graded, according to PFF, right, player on offense for the Giants. He was in there for quite a few snaps, but obviously, he wasn't going up against number one players on the other team and stuff like that. But I guess you can maybe do good and still get let go. And that doesn't mean the Giants won't bring him back, but he did well, in the preseason for the Giants, but he didn't want to make the team. So. All right, let's see here. So let me share the screen here. And all right, let's go over the offense here. All right. Offense. Okay, so as we see here, Mr. Hudson, right? He was number one overall. He graded out at a 90. Pass block was a 79.4. His run blocking was a 90.7, and he was one of the ones that the Giants let go. Doesn't mean he won't be back, right? But look at this. Jackson Dart, 84.7. No complaints there. Aaron Stinney, 81.8. Russell Wilson was number 2, 81.7. Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan. Now, obviously, the thing is, when Tommy got put in there, he was the fourth quarterback getting put in there, especially in those first two games. So he was playing against backups to the backups. But when you're playing against inferior opponents, what do you want to do? You want to dominate, right? And he did very well. Did very, very well for himself when he was in there. I said, the one game against the Patriots, I think 3 touchdowns. Then you got Joshua Zudu. He only played in 2 games, 82 snaps, was 78.2. Right, but it looks like he's going to start the season possibly on injury reserve, maybe for the Giants. Austin Schlottman, who the Giants wound up keeping, 77.1. Zach Pascal, 76.4. Jimmy Morrissey. So, obviously a few of these guys the Giants wound up letting go. Pascal, Morrissey, Montreal, Washington, they let him go. Jameson Winston did well for himself, 73.7. Tyrone Tracy, he only played 17 snaps, right? 2 games. Turbo Miller played 102 snaps. He graded 71.4. What was 89.8 was his passing? Yeah, he did very well for himself in the passing department. Jermaine Illuminor only played 32 snaps, 70.5. Thomas Fedoni, 70.7. Jason Williams, 69.1. Garner Olszewski, 68.3. Theo Johnson, 67.4. Daniel Bellinger, 67.1. Dalen Cambre, John Michael Schmitz, 65.2. Marcus Bowe, 65.1. That was so impressive about him. They had him at left tackle and right tackle, and he did very well for himself. So, I think the Giants might have actually found themselves a pretty good offensive lineman in the draft. Stone Forsythe, unfortunately, Greg Dulcich, they let go, 64.6, had himself a pretty good preseason. Now, once again, doesn't mean somebody's going to go out and claim him. They might, they may not. He might want it back on the practice squad. Somebody gets injured, if he's on the practice squad, guess who gets elevated? Greg Dulcich. So Jordan Bly. Jalen Hyatt was in there for just 2 games, 64.1. Wan'Dale Robinson, he only in there for 17 snaps. Little Jordan Humphrey, who's not so little, almost 100 snaps, 61.9. Devin Singletary, 61.9. Jonathan Ward, 61.8. Jake Kubas, who they let go. I'm kind of hoping that maybe they'll want to get him on the practice squad if he clears waivers. Cam is only in there for 10 snaps. He ran the ball 3 times, got 12 yards, I think. The first one, I think he slipped. Maybe could have picked up some extra yards if he didn't slip. Greg Van Roten, Antoine Wells Jr., Jermaine Terry, Chris Manhertz. He was only there for 8 snaps. Right. Bo Collins, who made the team. Amir Smith-Marset, who, might clear waivers. My Giants might want to bring him back. Let's not forget, right? If Gunnar Olszewski, right, gets injured, we'll have to wait and see. Because remember, let's not forget, was it last season? I think it was Gunnar with his groin. I think it was. Right, missed the whole season pretty much. So, Darius Slayton. Okay, he played 1 game, 9 snaps. So basically, between Wan'Dale, actually, you look at Wan'Dale Robinson too. Was it 17 snaps he was in? So between Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Malik Neighbors, they played a grand total of 26 snaps. So our wide receivers did very well. And basically, the wide receivers that were in there 96% of the time, whatever it is, were all backups. And we wind up grading out really, really well, according to PFF. So James Hudson, who is interesting. James Hudson the third, right? The guy, the swing tackle, that's the guy we are keeping, as compared to Brian Hudson, who graded out at a 90, who we're not keeping. Right? Go figure. And then we got here, of course, Elijah Chatman. Well, he was in there at fullback. Right? Evan Neal, 48.2, and John Runyon is in there for 32 snaps, graded out of 47. So, Evan Neal, you look at a little bit of his, you look at some of his tape. He had a couple nice, blocks, but he did have some issues too. So I think the Giants don't want to quite give up on him just yet, especially because he is trying a new position. Right? Doesn't mean he won't get some playing time. Right? Like if they want to, put a jumbo package in there or something like that. If you're going to just maybe try to just run the ball or something, may not be no better guy to throw in there than Evan Neal. As big as that guy, as strong as that guy is, so. But, they were going to always, lots of questions to be answered. Were they going to keep Neal? How many offensive line were they going to keep? And also. All right, now next, I got 2 more here. Okay. Now, Mr. Flott had himself according to PFF, had himself a very good preseason as well. Right? Now, of course, now he's battling out. It's going to be interesting to see, right, when we go play in Washington, who's going to be cornerback number 2. We know we got a Debo over there at number 1. Because we got Phillips in the slot, right? Who's going to be the other cornerback? Is it going to be Banks? Is it going to be Flott? Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see. Let me take this down here. Let me share my screen, and we'll go over the defensive side here. Defensive side of the ball. All right, we'll go to the defense here. Ooh. All right, and Mr. Flott was Mr. Numero Uno. We look here, right? 92.3. Now, we only played 25 snaps, 14 on the run, 11. He was in coverage 11 times, but his coverage rate was a 92.6. Now, I don't know offhand Was he going against backups? Was he going against first stringers? That I don't know. But, he had himself a very good preseason, right? Brian Burns was number 2. He's only played 20 snaps, 83.9. Trace Ford, right? Was in there for 120 snaps, 83.6. He, according to PFF, had himself a very nice preseason. DJ Davidson, he really helped himself out immensely, seems like here, because he's sorry, buddy, because he made the team. Good for him, right? But he was in there for 56 snaps, graded out of 78.8. Nothing really weak here. These grades are very, 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 very good, right? Makari Page, the safety. Oddly, as I said, we're all only keeping 3 safeties as of right now on the active roster. That's a little low. Usually, I'm thinking like at least 4, but as of right now, we only got 3. Roy Robertson Harris only played in 2 games, graded out of 77. Dane Belton, 74.7. Bobby Okereke, 74.7. As I said, you look, a lot of these guys that are going to be starting for us, right? Only played 2 games. Actually, Chauncey Golston was only in there for 37 snaps. He graded 72.5. Tyler Newman only played 8 snaps, 72. Deontay Johnson, 125 snaps, grade 71.5. Elijah Garcia, he had himself, according to PFF, pretty good, 3 preseason games, but it was not good enough to keep him on the team. Paulson Adebo, right, 70.2. Raheem Lane, another safety we let go, right? 2 games, played 2 games, 69.7. Adal Fortune, 69.2. Corey Durden, 68.8. Andrew Phillips was in there very sparingly, played in 3 games, but only grand total of 26 snaps, 67.8. Javon Holland was in there for 2 games. Micah McFadden, just 2 games. Very sparingly, 27 snaps, 29 snaps. Toman Fox, about 127 snaps, 65.6. Now, once again, he might be one. He clears waivers. Might want to bring him back. We've done that before with him. Mr. Banks was in there for 1 game, 20 snaps, 63.2. That was the Bills game. I think he gave up 1 reception. Basically, it was like a drag route. I think he had to follow the guy all the way across the field. Now, the guy got an inside leverage on him, and it was a couple steps ahead of Banks, or a step or so ahead of so the pass was completed. And I think Banks wound up bringing him down, but it was like 10, 12 yards or so down the field. But pretty much that was the only reception that he gave up. Now, obviously, Josh Allen was not throwing the ball, but Banks, once again, if you listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live, they say Mr. Tay Banks has had himself a pretty good preseason. They said maybe, obviously we're not talking like a Deion Sanders, not like that, but they said he was rather sticky this preseason. Like he was always like around the ball. He was not getting burnt or anything like that. Right. So TJ Moore, unfortunately, got injured. He graded a 62. Art Green, 62. Kayvon, 61.9. Kevon Wallace, we let him go. Nick Jones, right? We're going to be talking a little bit more about him in the last portion of our program because he wound up making a team at a 60.2. Elijah Chatman, unfortunately, but hopefully he'll clear waivers and we'll bring him back because I love the freaking dude's attitude, man. The guy wants to play ball. He gives it his all on every freaking play. I hope we can find him at least, on the practice squad. That'd be fantastic. I love the guy. Darius Alexander, 58.3. Darius Muasau, 57. T. Williams. Corey Black, right? He wound up making the team. He only played in 1 game, 56.7. Abdul Carter only played 28 snaps. Chris Board, Jeremiah Ledbetter, Raheem Nunez Roches, KJ Cloyd, and finally Jordan Riley. He came in the bottom. 3 games, played 48 snaps for Jordan Riley, and 37.7. So, we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting to see what one of those things is. Who do the Giants wind up bringing back, right? Who do they just let go and just let them go, right? Because there was a bunch of those guys, as I said, like Elijah Garcia, Corey Durden, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley, Chatman. There was a bunch of those guys there. It's like, are any of these guys going to make the team, or whatever it meant. So DJ Davidson wound up staying out, right? So he made the team. So, but as I said, we do know injuries happen. Davidson's been injured before, so we'll have to wait and see. But we'll find out, obviously, very shortly. Very shortly, if the Giants put a waiver claim in, bring somebody in, or right after the waivers are over, who do the Giants want to bring them back? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, so it's not all doom and gloom. Just because they let somebody go does not mean they're gone forever. Right. But Mr. Jones here. Mr. Jones had himself a very good special teams. Quite possibly one of the reasons why he made the squad. Now, he did have some issues maybe in the field defensive-wise, but once again, according to PFF, for me to sit and break down every special teams play they had and all that, I don't have time for that. So that's why the good people at PFF, right, they give me a grade, right? And it's all it is. It's their evaluation. But if PFF thinks he graded out at, say, a 90 in special teams, chances are he did pretty good in special teams, right? If they said he graded out at a 90 on defense, chances are he did pretty good, Like, once again, it's the way they look at it. But as I said, I got a subscription to them. They got some nice numbers and all that. So very, very helpful for me. But so let's finally go over here. The special teams portion of our program here, right? Let's see. As I said, Mr. Jones, special teams, did very well for himself. Now, like with special teams, just what I'm noticing, like with PFF, if you got like a 60, that's a very average. If you're below a 60, you didn't do very well. If you get like a 70 or so in special teams, that's very good. But Nick Jones, he got himself 86. Played 3 games, 55 snaps. So he played with 19 snaps per game on special teams, right? 86. Once again, quite possibly reason why he wound up making the team, right? Jonathan Ward said he had his work cut out for him. You'll notice here, he graded at 82, but there was not enough room on the roster to try to keep an additional back. Chances are if they were going to keep 4 backs, it would have been Turbo, not Mr. Ward. But, Chauncey Golston, these are 2 games. Shrink that up a little bit there, right? He graded out of 74. So I'd say you grade out in the 70s or the 80s on special teams, that's very, very good. Jermaine Terry, 72. Makari Page, 72. Odell Fortune, 70. Mr. Tay Banks was only out there for, looks like, 2 snaps. Kick coverage, grade out of 68.8. Trace Ford, 3 games. He played grand total 20 snaps, 67.8. But as I said, you'll notice here, Nick Jones, it's 55 snaps. Look at all these other guys. 2, 37, 9, 27, 25, 22, 17. 55 snaps. And he graded out of 86. Giants put a big priority on special teams this season. big priority. Not only so much, obviously, with the punting, getting Kreider back, a healthy Graham Gano, right? But also the players on special teams put a high priority on that. Let's see, we got Trace for Turbo Miller. Shame we couldn't find him. As I said, he might wind up on the practice squad. We'll have to wait and see. But Casey Kreider, Antoine Wells Jr., KJ Cloyd, Corey Black, right? He's on the team, right? He's a draft pick on the team. He's down the totem pole, okay, as far as, in the cornerback position, right? But so he's going to have to be a big-time contributor probably on special teams. Now, apparently here he only had 2 snaps. One game he had 2 snaps on special teams. But look for this number with Corey Black to go up, right? Because, you're not going to be a 7th-round pick, cornerback number 7 maybe on the team, and you're going to be just standing on the sideline drinking Kool-Aid. Now, you're in, if you get a uniform, you may not even suit up. I don't know. He may not be part of the 53, right? He might be part of the 7 that don't suit up, right? So, but if he is on the sideline, you look for the guy to be a big contributor in special teams. Little Jordan Humphrey, unfortunately, couldn't find a spot for him on the roster. DeQuan Felton, Kevon Wallace, Darius Muasau, he's going to be a contributor, right? Jimmy Morrissey, the Hammer, Stone Forsythe, Jake Kubas, Aaron Stenny, Austin Schlottman, Joshua Zudu, Marcus Bowe, Brian Hudson, Jason Williams, Amir Smith-Marset. And once again, let him go. It doesn't mean he won't be back, right? Jude McAtamney, Dalen Cambre, Gunnar Olszewski, Jordan Bly, Theo Johnson. He's got a ton of guys on special teams. Look at this. My goodness. See, this is not this. Obviously you're in the 50s, but you get down into the 40s and the 30s on special teams. That is not good at all. Like Toman Fox, right? 42. He played 48 snaps. So, Art Green, Dane Belton, Raheem Lane, Deontay Johnson, Bo Collins, Greg Dulcich, Fedoni, right? We had 59 different guys play special teams for us, right? But I said the Giants put a huge priority on special teams this year. And so far, once again, it's only preseason, right? But Nick Jones, 55 special team snaps, graded out at 86 overall, So they're pretty good. Probably one of the big reasons why he wound up making the team. As I said, we'll just have to wait and see. Only time will tell, right? If the Giants put any claims in on the waiver wire, right? 'Cause 1,000 guys got let go, so I'm sure there's probably somebody out of those 1,000 guys that might possibly be able to help the Giants out. So we'll have to wait and see. But so we'll have to see if the Giants get any waiver claims, and then of course, when they get their practice squad. But the thing is with the practice squad, it's always fluid. It's never. It's never like, we're done. Whew. All right, we're ready for the season. No, it's always, guys letting go, guys coming back, guys getting injured and all that. So it is what it is. All right, guys, been 1 hour and almost 40 minutes. Vinny G-Man, good talking to you, brother. Yeah, I'm ready for the season. Hope you are. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, man, that was horrible. Woo! Oh, yeah.
Bye.